So without further ado, I'd like to bring up the president of the Lightwave 3D group, Mr. Rob Powers, and Bill Arance of Stargate Studios.
Bill, get these creatures out of here. They're attacking me. Oh my God. He says friends. They're creatures to me, but friends to him. Thank you, guys. The beautiful work of Jordu Shell. Amazing designer, creature designer, artist, sculptor. ShellStudios.com. Please check it out. And now we have Bill Arance. We're here to talk about the great work that Bill and the team does. Al Lopez and Mike Enriquez and all the great team. Sam's company, Stargate Studios. We love the work they do on The Walking Dead, on Pan Am, on Heroes, on The Event. I mean, it goes on and on. And what else?
We did 24.
24. I mean, these guys do the best work that we see on TV with a very efficient team here locally in Pasadena.
We're in, our home office is in South Pasadena. We've got an office in Vancouver, one in Toronto. We've got one in Berlin. We're setting up something in South America, which would be really good for me. And we're a small company that keeps growing and growing, but we're still small in the sense that we don't trip over ourselves. We have to be extremely efficient, aggressively clever about how we're going to pull off our effects, because it is, after all, a business, and how you get these things done and still make a profit at the end of the day, it depends a lot on their workforce and a lot on the tools that you use. And Stargate is paramount about the kind of people that they hire, and I feel honored to be part of that team. I worked for them as a freelance artist for a couple of projects, and they finally made me an offer that I couldn't refuse. In fact, I was flattered to get the offer and accepted it right off the bat. So now I feel honored to be part of their family and share credit with some of the finest people that I've ever worked with. We're not a very big team. Our local-based 3D team is about 12 people on a given day.
And one artist can sit there and crank out, pretty much one or two artists could crank out with Lightwave everything that's needed.
Absolutely. And what I felt totally empowered as a freelance artist is that, like Rob says, Lightwave is a standalone power package. I mean, everything you need is right there in the box. You're not buying that thing and then having to shop for other plugins to make it work for you. Literally, out of the box, you can compete in the industry. And as a freelance artist, it allowed me to function as an independent pipeline, whether I was working from home or being called into a multi-platform shop and being set up in the corner with my little Lightwave package, or I could be plugged into anybody's workflow, because Lightwave has the capacity, the seamless capacity to integrate with other working platforms. It plays really well with others, and it, as an artist, it gives you that capability to tell the producer, to tell your boss that, look, don't worry about this. I've got this covered, because I can animate, I can light, I can build, I can surface, I can carry this commercial for you. Obviously, it works better when you're working with a team, because anytime you're working with a team, you're learning more, and they're learning from you. And I work with some of the best Maya artists in the industry, and we're all teaching each other regardless of the platform that we're working on. We're all contributing to each other's work. One of the main things that I'm able to contribute right now is I bring my own library of models that I've built over the years to this party. And I now, because of the FBX translators and stuff, I have the capacity to turn my old models into multi-platform models, giving them new life. I can go through Stargate's extensive archive of models and bring them back to life. Bring them back to life in Lightwave, make them better for Maya. And it just opens up the asset pool so much better.
One thing I want to mention that Bill's talking about is the interchange tools in Lightwave are so strong. The FBX support, I'm telling you, I'm a user, and I tested this myself before it was released for people to use. We have the best FBX implementation. You know, Pixamundo Studios, Stargate, all these studios are basing their pipelines on a mixed pipeline using Maya or 3D Max and Lightwave. A lot of the stuff being rendered in Lightwave, modeling, all kinds of interchanges happening. But what is great about this is the camera is matched so well. When you have pixel perfect matching between Maya and Lightwave, you can do elements in one and elements in another. The artist can use whatever they work with, but Lightwave brings so much to the table. It's so flexible. When you get those artists that, like you, can come in on one show, you can't assume that in the future your shows are going to have the same needs. When they get a diverse artist like you that can come in and model, do amazing modeling work, then the next show may need you to work on rendering and lighting. You may have to texture something that was already modeled. You may have to animate something. So you can be flexible through the whole process, and Lightwave allows you to do that.
And the other thing I'd like to tell you is that Rob Powers right now, he's got his salesman hat on, but he's an artist. And he's also the president of the Lightwave Group. So the man who's selling you this product right now is the man you're probably going to be talking to if you ever have a problem or need an advancement with the program. All of these people here that are with Rob, they don't work for him, they work with him. And his enthusiasm, his inspiration, his passion, he leads from the front and he leads by example. And his attitude and his passion it's infectious. And I can't say enough about the guy and what he's done for the Lightwave Group within a couple of years. What the man says is what happens. And when I helped push Lightwave 10 a couple of years ago, I heard a lot of things. And if they were coming out of anybody's mouth, I would have been skeptical. But we're living the dream right now. And for those of us at Stargate Studios, we're benefiting from the promises that Rob Powers and his team made. So you will not be abandoned. It's a small enough company to have the personal touch. They don't get in each other's way, and they listen to the users. They listen to us. A lot of the advancements that are in Lightwave, a lot of the buttons you're pushing, a lot of the panels you now have access to, are because Rob and his team sat down with people like me that were working on shows. When they tell you that they tested a particular product or a plugin, they didn't do it in some lab. They did it with guys like us that had a deadline to meet. They rolled up their sleeves. They got into the pit with us, and they said, we want to help you solve these problems. We want to make a better product. And they do. And they do it every day. And I can't thank them enough for that.
Thank you, Bill. We want artists to tell their stories and to use our software to do that. And that's the thing that inspires me, is to see the work that people do. But I also want to express that there is not just one way, there's not just one professional way. I think if you look at our historical reel for 20 years, if you look at the great work that they're doing at Stargate, if you look at The Walking Dead, if you look at all of the things we've been showing you, The Amazing Spider-Man, The Hunger Games, Battlestar Galactica, you will see that that is professional work at the highest caliber quality. And those shows were done in Lightwave. If you go to competitors' booths, I would challenge you to ask them, what was this rendered in? Was it modeled in your package? Was it textured in your package? Did you have a proprietary pipeline that brought in tools on top of that I did not get?
What kind of tech support do you get?
Do you have to have 50 technical directors to set up proprietary tools to make it work? What do I get when I buy your product? And I think that that is what studios around the world need to understand, that you need to, when you choose your pipeline, it is really something that is important.
Well, it reminds me of like the old days in the movies, the musicals, where it's like, hey, you got a barn, I got a camera, I got a girlfriend who knows how to dance, let's make a movie.
Right.
With Lightwave, you are the barn, you are the camera,
you are the pipeline.
You're the pipeline.
You are
there
the pipeline.
I mean, and what's amazing about that is that a reoccurring theme you're going to hear up here, regardless of who comes up here and what studios they come from, is you're going to see this beautiful work. And people will sit there and go, yeah, we did that in about a month with 3 guys. Or when Andrea was up here and she said, yeah, I'm the team. It speaks well, obviously, of the artists, the caliber of the artists that are doing that. But it really speaks well of the program that they've got at their disposal. And it's Lightwave. It's consistently Lightwave. And one thing I have to say about our industry, because I know there's a lot of people, a lot of artists out there that maybe haven't jumped into the digital world yet. And I want to tell you, jump in. The water's fine. Because the thing that's unique about our industry is it's about the picture on the screen, what
Absolutely.
ends up on the screen.
Absolutely.
And so regardless of the tool that you're using, we don't care if you're a guy, a girl, black, white, gay, straight. It doesn't matter. It matters what you can do and perform on the screen. And I know there's a lot of really good artists out there that come from the same kind of backgrounds that we've come from, that are reluctant to get into 3D because it looks really complicated. And I'm going to tell you what I've told every student I've ever taught, and it was something somebody told me. When you open the program, any program, there's a lot of buttons and dials. Don't be intimidated, okay? There's a lot of buttons and dials in Lightwave that I've never touched, and I've been on that program for over 15 years. You're going to use a couple of tools that are going to build your confidence quickly, and you're going to know within a heartbeat how much fun this stuff is.
It's not all the complexity that people are sold, you know? It's like really a small bag of tricks. The other thing I would say is that, you know, having a complete solution, when you started as an artist in the industry and you just were learning modeling and you focused on that, you didn't have to move to some other package and figure out a different pipeline. A Lightwave grew with you and allowed you to move from that all the way through rigging, animation, to render. And I'm a film student. I went to USC, Fight On Trojans, and I love that school. And I love film, and as a kid, I saw a tool that would render those images for me out of the box without any extra complexity. And at film school, they told us, my teachers were really great, and they said, it doesn't matter what you do behind the scenes. If there's a guy holding a tree branch, if somebody's got a pizza box over here, as long as that frame is showing what you want it to show, that is the most important thing. And everything we do is for that final image. And I saw softwares out there that did not even have a renderer that I wanted to work in built in. And I saw Lightwave that does images like that out of the box, and I said, I got to go there because I care about the image. And in Lightwave, we do start at the finish line. We work in the renderer. People don't understand the difference between a pipeline that is not Lightwave based. You oftentimes are preparing all your assets to get exported to an external renderer, use different shaders that you're not even using when you're modeling the tools. So in Lightwave, the same shaders and materials that you put on in the modeling when you begin your process are the same ones that you're going to render with because you're in the renderer. It is the application that you're going to render in. When you're animating, you're in the renderer. Everything is already there. It's funny because when I'm interviewed by press, they said, Rob, with 11.5, how do you do all the new tools you've added? How do you integrate that with your shader and render and lighting pipeline? And I said, you're asking me a question about other people's products because we don't have that problem. It's completely integrated in Lightwave. The renderer included is an unlimited render engine, meaning that other softwares charge you per node when you install that render farm. It's an external thing that all the Lightwave out of the box comes with an unlimited render license on. If you had 900 nodes on a render farm, if you bought Lightwave for $14.95, you would have the same renderer you're seeing for 20 years on all these award-winning shows on your render farm with that one seat of Lightwave. It's integrated. It doesn't require export. If you have your own movies you want to tell, if you have your own stories you're doing, it is the best tool for this. I mean, you look around the world at artists that are doing things. Richard Manns that we showed earlier from Abiogenesis, Chris Jones in Australia. You know, we even have Eddie Robeson who did PAX. Remember PAX? I mean, Eddie's sitting here. He did his own movie that way. Lightwave facilitates this whole process because it includes everything you need and it focuses and is the renderer that you're working in.
Yeah, it can't be said enough about that ability to put those beautiful images in front of somebody immediately, because a lot of the creative process, until you put your foot forward, it's very rare nowadays that an art director comes to you with a bunch of sketches and says, this is what I want. Those days are pretty much long gone. Normally they come to you with their problems, their challenges, and it's up to you to actually show them what they're talking about. And if you're sitting there on the tracks trying to start the engine, you're going to lose. And the sooner you can get those images out there, I've had situations where without warning, they tell us, hey, the director's coming by today. He doesn't have a lot of time. He's going to be really busy. He just wants to see what we're up to, and then he's moving on. They'll come by, and I've got my VPR window up, and you're looking at what looks like a pretty much finished render. And on a few occasions, I've had the director actually wheel a chair up and sit down next to me and play with it with me as like, oh, well, what happens? Could we possibly move? Oh, yeah, we can do whatever we want. This is your world. And we'll move it around until they've got the assistant tugging on their shoulder saying, hey, come on, we got to go. And it's like, hey, we're making a movie here.
Bill Arance and the great team at Stargate Studios has done amazing work on The Walking Dead, 24, The Event, Heroes, the scene in Heroes where that whole Tokyo was being destroyed thing. It was amazing. I mean, the work that you guys have done and continue to do inspires us all and is in our favorite shows.
Couldn't do without you, Rob.
We love you guys. Okay, thank you.